If you happy to have you for the episode 3 of Always Talking Ball, featuring Drew and Ethan. And today we're covering the week 8 of college football matchups. Well, what do you got for us for the first game, Drew?
So for the first game, circled, um, we chose Alabama versus Tennessee in Knoxville.
In Knoxville.
This is going to be a top 15 showdown. Both teams coming in with one loss. So this is basically an elimination game for both teams. If you think about it, maybe not for the playoffs, but maybe for the SEC championship. Conversation as that's going to start coming into play here pretty soon.
Um, yeah, it's obviously a huge test for the Tennessee's young team.
Right.
Nico's gonna have to step up
He's going
because
to clutch up. Yeah.
a very young player. Alabama obviously has a great mix of youth and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the combination of Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams will be deadly in that game.
Yeah. And I would also say, too, Alabama's running game, it might not be the best, but I think they still can generate some power through running the football. Jam Miller he's been a beast, in my opinion, just running
They
through
can,
tacklers. Yeah.
yeah, they can always run. Even Jalen Milroe can run if he needs to.
Right.
Very talented runner in
Mm-hmm.
that regard.
They've got a trio of receivers that can get open. You saw it last week against South Carolina in that nail biter. But they
Mhm.
got some weapons. And then, like you said, for Tennessee, they've got Nico at quarterback. They've got Squirrel White at receiver. They've got Dylan Sampson at running back. They're really, when they can run the football, they can run the football. But Tennessee is a very balanced offense. Josh Heupel, their head coach, he's always been an offensive guy. He was the quarterback for Oklahoma back in the day, and now he's the head coach at Tennessee, and so he's got a lot of offensive background. So it'll be a really good game. Kalen DeBoer and Josh Heupel are both two offensive minds.
Yeah. Um, Tennessee is the slight underdog in this game, with Alabama being favored by 3.
Right, right. Well, and remember, last time Alabama went down to Neyland Stadium to face Tennessee, uh, Tennessee knocked them off by a field goal. Remember
Yeah,
that?
the goalpost was in the river after that
Uh
game.
huh. Yeah.
Um, so,
it, it,
um,
yeah, and I think it was the first time they lost to Tennessee since like 2006 or something.
dude, it was a long time.
It was a long
That, that
streak.
that field goal was really ugly though. It looked
Yeah,
like a very had a knuckling effect to it.
yeah. It
Um,
was a it was a it was a it was a knuckleball.
Tennessee escaped by the hair of their chinny chin chin in that game. Um, but they
Yeah,
won, so they got it
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Uh,
I will
um,
say, I will say though, Alabama's defense, they've been pretty vulnerable over the past couple of weeks, and Georgia was what it was. Georgia, made basically a comeback, but was able to win the game. But when you look at the game that Alabama played defensively against Vanderbilt and South Carolina, they've been very inconsistent. And
hmm
so my worry for Alabama is if they're not able to slow Nico and that Tennessee offense, will Jalen Milroe and the Alabama offense be able to keep up?
Yeah, this game's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, both teams, lots of firepower on both sides.
right,
Like as you stated earlier,
right.
Nico has plenty of targets to throw to. Jalen Milroe
Plenty to go to.
he has the whole toy box.
Well, and Tennessee supposedly now they've got a defense. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they've got some pass rushers too, and their secondary can cover in the back end. I remember watching a game against Arkansas where Tennessee, obviously that was a loss for them, but Tennessee did a really good job in pass coverage. They did a pretty good job in that. You know,
yeah, of course. Their defense has always been. I mean, it hasn't always been the greatest because I remember last time they came to Neyland, there was that game. The last time they played at Neyland, it was 30 points scored on both sides.
right, right,
Not a lot of defense.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to be a shootout. That will definitely be a big game in that part of the SEC. And then the next one that I think everybody's got circled on, this Saturday is down in Austin for that big showdown between number 1 Texas and number 5 Georgia.
Oh yeah, what a showdown that'll be.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's defense is going to test that Texas offense. It's
Yeah.
going to be the test that they've been looking for all season.
Well, and people have been saying, Steve Sarkisian, since he's been at Texas, he said we need to build up the line of scrimmage. We need to build up, we need to build up our offensive and defensive line, and I think it'll be a test for Texas. I really do. I think this is going to be their toughest test yet. Georgia is a very physical football team. Kirby Smart knows that in these situations, when your team already has one loss, that you got to kind of push yourself from out of just being behind the 8 ball. I think this is going to be a statement game for Georgia, this part of the
Yeah,
season.
believe
And
it or
obviously
not.
for Texas too.
Yeah, believe it or not, Texas has the number 1 ranked defense in all the country.
Wow.
So I thought it was Georgia
Yeah.
that had the better defense, but man,
Well,
clearly Texas is. They've only allowed 1,378 yards the whole season. Only allowed um, only allows about 3 yards per play.
wow.
So they're very stingy defense. But
Yeah.
Georgia has a lot of ball hawks on that back end. I
Yeah.
expect Malachi Starks to be very involved in that game.
I was about to say Malachi Starks is definitely gonna um, he's gonna have his hands full. And for Carson Beck, I think if he wants to create a label for him, that's maybe a Heisman candidate, because he was a Heisman candidate to start the year, well, along with Jalen Milroe and the others.
Yeah,
But I think
Carson
if
Beck. Yeah, he's got to
yeah,
limit those turnovers.
yeah,
Because he threw 3 picks in that Bama game.
right. And then he threw how many touchdowns he threw in that game that made it a one score game at the end.
Dude, I think he threw 3 or 4, which
Something.
I mean, he's resilient.
Yeah,
And he's gonna have to be resilient
he
against
is.
Texas because obviously things are not gonna go the way um they expect obviously all the time with Texas because Texas is gonna challenge you in every way possible.
Right.
Um,
That's
Man, I
right.
expect it to be a physical showdown between two
Yeah.
great teams.
Yep.
Expect it to be real close, maybe about 20 points between both teams.
Mhm. And I think Steve Sarkisian, I think he's going to have a pretty good game plan for Quinn Ewers, the starting quarterback. And I
Of
think
course.
I think Ewers is going to have a heck of a game. Um, I will say though that especially in this game, if Texas wants to get off to a good start, you know, Quinn Ewers is going to have to be faster out of the gates coming into the game. Because remember last week he was a little bit slower out. I get he hadn't played it for a couple of weeks, but he was a little bit, he was a little bit slow out of the gates coming in, against Oklahoma. So, they're going to have to, if they want to really catch Georgia off their feet, they're going to have to generate some firepower early.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Um, Georgia's got to get out to an early start. They got to
right, for both
strike.
teams. Yeah,
Both teams are going to get out to a fast start. I think. Um,
right.
it'll be separated by maybe 3, 4 points. Or it's going to be it's going to go sway over in the way of Texas on a blowout. I don't see Georgia blowing out this Texas team.
Yeah, no. I will say though, the reason why I say this is going to be Texas's toughest task or toughest test of the year so far is um, I don't think they have faced a defensive line like Georgia
Oh yeah,
because of how physical they are. They've always been great, obviously, at D line. They've been tremendous at linebackers. I mean, you look how many, just all across the board defensive players they've put in the NFL over the past couple of
The
years.
Eagles grab all their defensive linemen. Seems
Right,
like
right,
Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith.
right.
Um, there's one more I'm forgetting. Jalen Carter,
Yeah, yeah.
Nakobe Dean.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, Georgia had an insanely talented defense and will continue to have insanely talented defenses
yeah.
under Kirby Smart.
And don't forget, they've got Trevor Etienne at running back, the Florida transfer.
Mm-hmm.
and he's really good. He's very physical. He can run. He can get some yards. So
Yeah, I totally see him being a huge factor in that game. At least on
right,
the skill player end. In
right.
terms of receivers, I don't know who's gonna make a big play for um Georgia or Texas, but I know Texas. They're gonna Jonte Cook is gonna play a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if Golden is injured or not, but I think he is.
I can't remember. Is Isaiah Bond? Is he going to be
I think he'll be
available?
playing.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I remember he got injured against OU, I think, but he should be
Obviously,
fine.
my friend Trey Wisner's, I'll say acquaintance. Trey Wisner is going to be playing in that game.
Yeah.
He'll be making a big impact in some way. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't think there'll be too many rushing yards in this game.
Yeah.
I think everything, a lot. It's going to be a lot of air yards,
Yeah. Right.
if anything, because both teams aggressive. Both teams have good D lines,
Mhm.
linebackers.
Mhm.
It's going to be a
And
very physical defensive showdown.
I would expect too, especially when it comes to fourth down conversions, maybe they go for it more on fourth down in this kind of game, this magnitude of a game, because both coaches are coaching this game to win it, and so
Mm.
when it comes down to the very end, I expect both coaches to even especially Steve Sarkisian to go for it on multiple fourth downs to try
Yeah.
and get some energy on their sideline. So
Um, very again, game day, big game.
hmm
It's in terms of SEC standings, how do you see this playing out?
um, not being biased or anything. Um, Texas Texas is a really good team. They've got it at the offensive line, defensive line, quarterback. They've got every skill player you could imagine. I think that when you look at Georgia, I think they need this win just because, even though they lost to Alabama, I know we keep saying that, but I feel like Georgia coming on the road, they understand what's at stake. I think Georgia finds a way to um, I think they find a way to win the game. I think it's going to be a very very narrow margin, but I think they're going to I think they're really going to strike I think they're going to really strike Texas at the line of scrimmage. I think Georgia pulls a nail biter out of Austin.
Yeah, I think so. I think Texas being favored by 5 at their own place.
Hmm.
The fans are crazy. It's crazy down there in Austin. You and I both know.
Yeah,
Um, I think Texas wins by a field goal.
really.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
yeah,
Quinn Ewers is going to play really well.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think that receiving core is going to eat.
Right. Well, and let's because I don't think we did, but picks for Alabama and Tennessee. I'm gonna have to go the Volunteers.
Yeah. I was going to take um the Volunteers as well. They play really well at Neyland.
Yeah,
Over 100,000 fans.
yeah,
One of the best home field advantages in all college football, if not the
right,
best.
right. Yeah. So, um, well, going into the Big Ten now for our third matchup.
I don't know the
The
two SEC games, very SEC heavy this week.
huh. Yeah. Well, then we switched to the Big Ten. We got Nebraska against number 16 Indiana.
Indiana, a very surprising team. One of the
Aren't
top
they six?
offenses in the country.
Yeah, aren't they 6-0?
Yeah, they're 6-0 undefeated.
Yeah,
Um, obviously they could be a playoff team, but
they could.
Matt
They
Rule's
could.
Nebraska defense and Dylan Raiola is going to come to play.
Yeah, and don't forget Nebraska's 5-1.
Nebraska
So
could even make a run at it too.
right, if Nebraska if they are able to sneak out against Indiana and get to 6-1, that'd be big for Matt Rule. That'd be
Oh yeah,
big.
Matt
Just
Rule's yeah
yeah,
always plays well in big games. Matt Rule always coaches those games well.
right.
Except that one Baylor game where he blew a 28-point lead.
Wasn't that to
I want to
wasn't
forget
that
that
one
as
to
a Baylor fan.
wasn't that to Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, I want to forget that, please. But
Well,
Matt Rule is built for these situations as a coach. A
well,
defensive-minded coach,
yeah,
he'll have his guys ready to
yeah.
play against that top-scoring offense.
Well, and I'll say this. I've been really impressed with Matt Rule so far. Last year, didn't they go 5-7?
I mean, yeah,
It was. I've been really impressed with how they've been able to play throughout the past couple of weeks. I mean, I saw the Colorado game they played against. They
they
were
smoked
they
Colorado,
were. Oh my gosh, that
and
was
Colorado looks even better this season.
right, and that one makes Nebraska look even better. And for Nebraska, you know, it's. Why not? Why not go for it? And then Indiana, why not go for it? So those are two similar teams that are just go like, hey, let's go for this, man.
I
Let's
mean,
let's
yeah,
take
obviously on Indiana's end, their coach is they stole the coach from James Madison. He
right.
said this funny quote earlier. I saw on social media. He said, "Google me, I win." I mean,
I did see that. I did see that. Yeah.
Google me, I win. That's
I would.
that's the type of confidence he has going into this game. Um,
Right.
obviously his quarterback Curtis Rourke is a really good quarterback, transfer from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, outside of that, man, there's a lot of people I don't know. Like
Yeah.
Indiana
Right.
just sort of came out of nowhere.
Well, and say the same thing for Nebraska too. They came out of nowhere too.
I mean, they have star power though.
Yeah, but you know,
I mean, to be fair,
considering
they do got a really good quarterback for the next 3 years,
right,
probably.
right. Yeah. Yep. So who do you have winning that game? It's in Indiana, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Who do you have winning?
Um, I want to say, Nebraska gets it.
Nebraska. Okay. Okay.
Why? Because I just feel like Indiana has had an easier schedule.
Really?
I don't think they've played anybody super hard yet. I mean, if we're looking at their schedule right now, they have played FIU, an FCS team. They beat by 77. They played UCLA, not very good. They played Charlotte,
Mhm.
Maryland, and Northwestern. All bottom tier Big Ten teams in their conference play.
So it'll be an early midseason test for them. Um,
They're ranked 16 in the country, dude.
right. Um, you know, it's a road game for Nebraska. Indiana is number 16. They're 6-0. Head coach has a lot of confidence, but so does Matt Rule. I'm going to take the Cornhuskers on this one. I'm going
You
to take
take the
Nebraska.
Cornhuskers.
I'm going to take Nebraska on this one. I think Matt Rule is able to find a way. It might. What I'm guessing is it's not going to be a pretty game. It's going to be um, like a hard nosed, just trying to pound the football kind of game.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a little bit of technical difficulties there.
You're good, bro.
Um,
Was your Wi-Fi going out?
something like that, but
Yeah,
I'm
no.
back.
I'm on
Um,
Nebraska on that one.
yeah, I'm on Nebraska.
All right. Well, we each chose one game that we think could be interesting. I'll go first. I chose number 8 LSU taking on Arkansas.
The Battle of the Golden Boot.
Oh yeah, and I believe this is down in Arkansas.
I think Arkansas has a really solid chance of pulling this one out.
I do too. I
Just
there
because of they beat Tennessee. They've proven they can beat good teams.
well, and ever since that A&M loss, you know, they beat Tennessee. I think they've been gradually getting better. And I think Bobby Petrino, their offensive coordinator, has done some really nice things offensively with
Didn't
Taylor
wasn't he
Green.
wasn't Bobby Petrino at A&M?
He was. Yep. He was play caller for uh, Coach Fisher.
That's what I
Yep.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's their offense was pretty good underneath him. At least it was decent, and I think Arkansas can has a legitimate shot.
Yeah. Um,
So who do you have winning?
um, like I said, Arkansas is, I think, gradually getting better. When you look at what LSU was able to do last week against Ole Miss, being able to pull that win
Very
out,
very good game.
um, I'm going to take the Tigers on the road. I think that Garrett Nussmeier, I think, um, I think he's going to carry that Ole Miss game over into Arkansas. Obviously, not the exact game, but I think he's going to carry that confidence in. And I think LSU's defense looks legit, and I think they're going to be able to get after Taylor Green a little bit, maybe pressure him in the backfield. So I'm going to go LSU on the road.
I think LSU gets it done too.
Yeah.
Um,
Now I think
just
it's a yeah.
just out of sole experience.
Now I think it's going to be a close game, like it has been the past couple of years. It really has. Um, but I think LSU finds a way to get it done down in Fayetteville.
Sam Pittman will definitely coach his players to make it be a close game.
Right. Right. That is right. Battle for the Golden Boot. We'll see who gets it in 2024.
All right, yeah. And then the game I highlighted was ACC and Independent Showdown. Notre Dame and Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Your guy Haynes King is is going against Marcus Freeman's Fighting Irish.
I tell you what, Haynes King is a pretty dang good quarterback, man. He's really made himself known at Georgia Tech.
I don't
Um,
know why he didn't pan out at A&M.
Great question. I don't know. Maybe it was just the
Scheme?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know, but
he's clearly making it work down in the ACC.
obviously Notre Dame is ranked 11.
Right,
Um,
right.
I don't know if it's in South Bend, but so Haynes King obviously does a lot of good things with his legs, but on the other end they got Riley Leonard, who
Duke
also is
product.
a mobile quarterback who does a lot of good things with his legs.
Yeah, he
So
was former Duke quarterback with now head coach of A&M Mike Elko. Um,
mhm.
he's really good. There's been some games this year he's really been able to show off his arm. He can throw the ball, but he can also run it too. So he's a really good guy. He's a really good uh, quarterback.
So I believe the game is in Atlanta, so it's at home for Georgia Tech. Um,
Okay.
Notre Dame got some good rushers, Jeremiah Love.
Uh-huh.
But Georgia Tech, they got a good rusher on their hands. I think it's Jamal Haynes is his name,
Mm-hmm.
which I want to make sure I'm right because I was wrong last time. It is
Yeah.
Jamal Haynes. Okay. Um, is their leading rusher. Haynes King is going to be a factor. I don't know too much about their defenses, but I know Notre Dame's defense is always they've played fundamental ball. That has been the
Yeah.
Notre Dame staple.
Yeah.
Um, who do you got?
It's at Georgia Tech. Um, Notre Dame on the road. Um, I love my
I
guy Haynes
mean,
King. I like Georgia Tech. Um,
keep in
I'm gonna
mind
I'm,
Notre Dame
I'll
is
go the
favored
yellow.
by 9.5 points.
Go Haynes King and Georgia Tech. I'm
You
gonna go
think
with
they
the
pull out
upset.
the upset?
I think I'm gonna go with the upset.
Oh yeah, it's almost a 10 point. Notre Dame's almost a 10 point favorite. Which is crazy. Um, Notre Dame top ranked, top 15. They play solid football, but they obviously lost to they lost to NIU.
Yeah.
NIU.
Yep.
They're not even ranked anymore, and they play in a group of five conference.
Hmm.
Obviously though they've improved since then. This is really a toss up for me.
Yeah.
Despite it's saying the analytics are saying Notre Dame has an 80% chance to win.
Well,
Um,
and what I also think is interesting, I think the quarterback battle is very intriguing too, because
yeah,
I think both quarterbacks are kind of eerily similar to each other.
very similar. Both very dependent on their legs.
Yeah.
Um, both play. They don't pass the ball insane.
No.
I think they're both better athletes than they are quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and so I think it's a toss up for me. I think Notre Dame wins by a touchdown.
Okay. Great prediction.
Um, so obviously now we're moving on to Heisman, and there's
Yep.
been some controversy about that recently. Travis Hunter's been complaining about how he should be Heisman. He's like, "Oh, Ashton Genty isn't going two ways like I am. He has 93 carries and he's getting a whole lot more touches than I am." Okay, so
Hey, less talking, more playing.
he plays really well. Travis
But
Hunter does.
yes, he plays. So I can't even say that. But um,
Ashton Genty just such a great
I
on such a
mean,
great pace.
I mean, listen to this. Ashton Genty, okay, through 6 games, he has rushed for 1,248 yards. He's got 18 total touchdowns and averages almost basically 10 yards a carry. Like, I mean, seriously. And then, um, which if he's able to maintain it throughout all season, he would shatter the single season record for a running back with at least 200 carries in a season.
And that record by Barry Sanders is supposed to be unbreakable.
Right.
The fact that he's going to probably break it, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Right.
saying Travis Hunter is saying he doesn't deserve the Heisman? Like,
It's
we
just,
get it, Travis. You're a great athlete, but you can't undermine someone who's having a generational season.
hey, he's just a competitor. You know, he's
Um, yeah, Travis Hunter's gonna. Travis Hunter's obviously a huge influence on social media. You see him all over the place on social media. He's gonna make his opinion heard.
yeah. Right.
Um, I mean, he's very expressive. He's a trend in new players that
Uh
I
huh.
haven't seen in a while. He's doing TikTok dances when he scores touchdowns. He's all doing all sorts of things, dancing in onesies on TikTok. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's certainly a entertainer type of a player.
Right. Right.
When I think
Well,
of him as a
yeah.
player, I think of Ocho Cinco, entertainer
Yeah.
type.
Well, coming in at number two, he got a big win against Ohio State last week. Dylan Gabriel, Oregon quarterback.
Mm,
Um, he has he's completed 23 out of 34 passes. He's thrown for 341 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and he rushed for 32 yards against Ohio State.
yeah, he's gonna have a big game against Purdue too.
Yeah,
Purdue, not a very good team. Dylan Gabriel, I expect him to pass 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe at least.
right. Well, and we've even talked about it before on here. We said that Dylan Gabriel, he's an athlete, man. I mean, he can run it, he can pass it, he can do just about anything when he gets his chance.
His game is not one dimensional, but you have to mention that his injury all those years ago was a lower body injury.
Right. Yep.
So his
Yep. That's
mobility is
right.
definitely not what it used to be,
Yeah.
but he's like a Mahomes type. He can dance around in the pocket. He can improvise until he can make something happen.
Right.
Um,
He can make a defense pay, especially when they're not accounting for him.
hmm
Which that wouldn't be
Obviously,
a
they
good.
know he's a threat. He's been playing forever.
Right. Right.
He
Well,
started
that's
playing college football before I got in high school. Believe it or not, I got something funny I want to show you on my computer real quick.
okay.
Um, so you know Michael Myers, right? The Halloween character. Since we're in October,
Michael Myers.
um,
Uh, no, I don't. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard that name before.
look at this though. I'm gonna share my screen here. Look. He'll just stand in the backfield.
Is that Ashton Genty?
That is Ashton. He'll just stand there, like he's staring straight into your soul.
That's hilarious.
He is like, I'm going to kill you on this play. I'm going to stiff arm you, take your dignity, and run for a 60-yard touchdown.
That's greatness. Oh,
Um, but obviously, yeah, that was a fun little bit I wanted to show you.
that's awesome. Oh,
So yeah, they said I've seen a lot of Halloween edits about him. Like, oh, he's so scary.
looking into your soul. I'm gonna take your dignity away, bro. Hey, if he, oh,
Oh man, he's a great character though. I'm gonna be rooting for him in the Boise State Broncos the rest of the season.
I
Which
wonder
brings
what.
us to our next little fun segment that we didn't have last time.
Just
Dark.
a little funny thing for Genty. I wonder what his Halloween costume is gonna be.
Oh, I did see on social media with you know who Destroying is, right?
Yes.
Um, he was visiting Boise State. He goes around the bleachers and he sees Ashton Genty in a Michael Myers costume. He's like, oh, he like crapped his pants. But
That's
you know,
funny.
I'm trying my best not to cuss on here. I could have made it a lot funnier, but like, okay. Um,
I don't think anybody would care.
no, I don't think so. But
It's just a
there's
fun
kids
little. I
watching.
think. Okay. Besides that, moving on. Obviously, We've basically been talking about him all night. Travis Hunter, two-way player, wide receiver, and then cornerback. Um, he actually left the game against Kansas State late in the second quarter after he suffered a shoulder injury, which
Hmm.
you know wasn't really good for him. But
Yeah, his Heisman odds have definitely gone down.
yeah,
Like I stated earlier, he's always going to be in the talks because he knows how to put on a show.
he does. But he's also a really good player too. There's not too many people that can play both sides of the ball, especially at the D1 level. That just takes
Sir,
really good talent.
athlete, like we said on the first episode, just a
Right.
great athlete. And then moving on to our third and final one.
That was our final one.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter.
Cam Ward's
Oh yeah,
not in it
Cameron
anymore.
Ward. Yeah.
Cam Ward. Um,
How could you forget that guy?
oh man, what a great story! As we mentioned in the first episode, Miami had a bye week last week, I think, and
Yeah.
so obviously he's bringing the U back. Something we
Hmm.
haven't seen in a while since that team with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Greg Olson, a lot of
Yeah.
NFL legends now. But I expect them and Cam Ward to keep on rolling along. Even if
Yeah.
he doesn't win a Heisman, I see his team winning the ACC.
What? Just speaking of which, what do you think it'd be Miami against Clemson
I
for
mean,
right now?
even for right now, even Cade Klubnik's been playing out of his mind, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
that'll be interesting going forward.
yeah. Yep. Cameron Ward is definitely up there for the Heisman talk.
All right, so going on to our last and final segment, I believe. Um, underdog teams that can make the playoff.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
something that's interesting though. since the 1960s, Army and Navy are both undefeated. Or I think it was the 40s even. I think it was what it was. Not the 60s. Um,
Hey, I think both of those sound right.
either one of them sounds right, but
Yeah.
um, I'm obviously I did a lot of research on this because I was the one that sort of mentioned bringing it up. Um,
Mm-hmm. You were.
Army, how have they not been relevant since our past World War? 80 years ago, they're back after 80 years.
Yeah.
And
And they're dominant, man.
man, you
They're
seen
good.
Bryson Daly, Army's quarterback. Man,
He's a
that triple
machine.
option,
Yeah.
that
They're
triple
killing it.
option is the best it's ever been. I mean, I got a friend that's an Army fan. Man, bro, I saw he showed me this stat against UAB where the quarterback had rushed for like had 17 carries, a buck 49. Um,
Wow.
and he had this nasty stiff arm on a run, like
Wow.
nasty. Like okay, and let's speak a hypothetical here. Army Navy. What if they're both undefeated going into that game?
Man. That would
That's so far away though. Do you think Army can stay undefeated?
you know what? At this juncture in the season, you really don't know. But I mean, if they keep playing like they've been playing, they've got a real shot, and so does Navy too.
I just it just believes baffles me how you can't stop the same play over and over again. It's just
Right.
pitch and catch, run and catch. That's all the triple option is.
Well, at that point, it's just the offensive line just doing their job. Well, everybody doing their job, just executing.
Fundamental
That's the
football,
bottom line.
man.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. Fundamentals.
Um, bring it back to 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Make the college
making it
football
very
playoff
interesting.
exciting.
I know. Wouldn't we love to see the triple option in the playoffs? 10-minute drives. Doesn't that make you excited?
They do that against like Georgia or Texas or whoever. That'd be hilarious.
10-minute drives. Dude, they're a great team. I wish them all the best. The Air Force Falcons aren't doing too great. They're the only military school that sucks, and they were good last year. But man, my dad roots for Air Force, but they're not good this year. 1-5. But moving on to any other dark horse contenders you have?
Um, well, we mentioned Boise State. Obviously, Ashton Genty. Um,
Yeah, very
they're
solid attack from them.
they're solid. Yeah.
With their quarterback Madison. And even if they don't do well this year, they got former 5-star Malachi Nelson.
Yeah.
So their future is definitely bright. They'll be contending for the playoff for years to come. Um,
Right.
obviously, Ashton Genty putting up the numbers he's putting up, he's going after this year.
Right.
Um,
Right.
any other sleepers? I think, man, I would want to put Vandy in there.
Really.
Are they under? I believe they're undefeated in SEC play.
I don't know.
I think because they've played is Alabama and Kentucky,
And those were wins.
and they were wins.
Yeah. Well, I think a team that a lot of ACC teams need to be looking out for. I think Clemson is really kind of starting to come back into the conversation. The way they're playing, the way they played against Wake Forest, the way K Klubnik's playing. Ever since I lost to Georgia, they've kind of put that one behind them. I mean, they haven't lost a game since. They're doing really well.
Dabo Sweeney
Finds a
always,
way.
always finds a way.
Yep,
Um,
that's all that matters.
great talent from them. Obviously, K Klubnik. They sent Will Shipley to the league last year. Um, man, they just K Klubnik not the best last year to be honest. Um,
He struggled last year, but
very turnover heavy.
yeah, he's
But
made up for it.
he's turned it around. and that pro-style offense that Clemson runs.
Right. That's right. Hey, could I put Baylor in there?
I mean, if you really feel like it, but like you're just teasing me at this point.
Hey, you never know. I'm just joking. No, I
I
mean,
mean, Texas Tech, who plays us this week, has a better shot of making it.
that's right. That's right.
They're another sleeper team, but we're not going to get into that. Um,
Why not?
why not? Fine, we'll get into it. Um, Joey McGuire, Texas Tech, air raid.
Yeah.
Mike Leach, swing your sword, the pirate. R.
Didn't Joey McGuire wasn't Joey McGuire an assistant coach at Baylor for a little bit?
Yes, I hear this a lot. Um, um, he came out of high school as a really great coach, and then came and coached D1 level for a little bit, and then he's running those Red Raiders are running with what's their quarterback's name? He's one of
Is
the
it
highest
Morton?
recruited. Morton,
Yeah.
Brendan Morton.
Yeah.
And Taj Brooks, great
Boy,
player.
he's really good.
Man, he's a great player. That offense is very deadly. I don't know how they did what they did after almost losing to Abilene Christian week 1.
Oh, yeah. That 52-51 win. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what voodoo magic they have going down there in Lubbock.
Hey, they're
Um,
just
maybe it's the luck of those tortillas, man. They throw those tortillas on the field. Um, maybe it's just great
maybe
circumstance.
maybe all of them eat one before each game,
I don't
and
know.
that gives
Maybe
them
they
their
have a good luck
firepower.
tortilla.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
good luck tortilla. Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, that about wraps it up, don't you think?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Great. Obviously, this podcast is going to be out, October 18th. So,
Yep.
obviously, this is the end of the video. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm supposed to do any special outro thing. Like, am I just supposed to disappear like Houdini?
No, I could. One of us could rip our shirts like Pat McAfee. You know what I mean?
Oh, there we go.
Technical difficulties again?
Oh, yeah, I can't rip my shirt. I'm not strong enough. I'm just going to disappear.
Or we should get a head thing like Lee Corso has.
Oh, man. I was looking at the price for those helmet things, but
Bro, that's gotta be so much money. Oh
too
my
expensive.
gosh.
But obviously, goodbye. I don't know what else to tell you. If you're still watching, great. Thank you for
Good job for
listening to
making
us.
it this far.
Thank you for listening to us. Yeah.
Yep.
As always, I'm Ethan Mailer from Always Talking Ball. Signing out.
Drew Geltmeyer, always talking ball, baby. Let's go. That was good.
I think that was better than the first episode, to be honest.
It was. Dude, my AirPods literally died as we were. I wore them in so that it didn't look weird.
I lagged out twice.
Bro.
I was like, serious? But it's only for like 3 seconds that I lagged out.
And then, hey, at least it didn't lag out when we were talking about Alabama, Tennessee, or any of that stuff.
The important stuff. The stuff at the very beginning. I don't even know how long we did it. We did it for at least an hour today.
And it was good. Like, it was really good.
The Ashton Jenkins.
Dude, that's amazing.
I saw that and I was like, I gotta show you.
That's hilarious, bro.
I've seen some.
That's funny. Philadelphia Freedom took a
He kept
knee.
it funny. Like, if you know the stats, you can be funny on it.
Right.
Um,
Philadelphia Freedom. Sha-na-na.
That was great. That was great. I'm gonna work on this video a little bit tonight, and then
Okay.
then I'll